What if I told you the secret to writing a best-selling book is to tap into human psychology? The work of Dr. Jennifer Lynn Barnes tells us that humans have deeply ingrained psychological triggers, things we are wired to crave. And when a story taps into those psychological triggers, readers cannot get enough. One of my personal favorite books, Leigh Bardugo's Six of Crows, taps into these triggers perfectly to create a story that's, in my humble opinion, impossible to put down. In this video, we're breaking down Dr. Jennifer Lynn Barnes' psychology-backed pleasure buttons using Six of Crows as a case study. Welcome to Story Lab. My name is Hayley Milliman, and I am an author, writing teacher, and editor with over 15 years of experience helping writers craft stories. Make sure you stick around until the end to see how I use Barnes' framework to develop a compelling fantasy concept in just minutes. Dr. Jennifer Lynn Barnes is both a best-selling author and a research psychologist who has spent years studying why humans love stories. Her research suggests that the most successful stories push psychological pleasure buttons, hardwired desires that keep readers emotionally hooked. Barnes says that there are 6 pleasure buttons that best-selling stories hit: beauty, wealth, power and status, competition, safe danger, and touch. Let's have a look at how Bardugo uses each of these pleasure buttons in Six of Crows. Humans love beauty, not just in people, but in landscapes, objects, and even in danger itself. Leigh Bardugo leans into this by making Six of Crows feel visually striking in every single way. Ketterdam, the setting, is described in dark, gothic, and atmospheric detail. The city's mist-covered canals and neon-lit gambling dens create a world that feels cinematic and immersive. Inej, known as the Wraith, is described not just as deadly, but as graceful and ethereal, making her presence magnetic. Kaz Brecker's signature look, a sharp black suit, a crow-headed cane, and gloves concealing his hands and his secrets, turns him into an iconic visual in the minds of readers. Bardugo paints her world and characters with aesthetic precision, making them impossible to forget. Readers are drawn to stories of money and the pursuit of wealth. Six of Crows thrives on this. The entire plot revolves around getting an impossible fortune, a payday so big that it could change each character's life forever. But Kaz doesn't just want wealth. He wants to own Ketterdam. His ambition is not just about survival and ownership, but about controlling an empire. Wylan, the runaway heir to a powerful merchant family, embodies the trope of wealth lost and reclaimed. His struggle adds layers of class tension and intrigue to the story. Bardugo understands that riches represent more than just money. They symbolize freedom, security, and power. Stories about climbing social hierarchies and seizing control are inherently compelling because they reflect real-world struggles for dominance and survival. In Six of Crows, Bardugo expertly layers multiple levels of power dynamics, from personal ambition to larger societal struggles, making the fight for status an unavoidable part of every character's journey. The gang turf wars in Ketterdam reflect an ongoing battle for control over wealth and resources. Every gang in Ketterdam is vying for more territory, more influence, and a greater cut of the city's lucrative black market. Beyond the gangs, status is also a political and magical struggle, especially for the Grisha. Nina Zenik's story is a battle not just for personal survival, but for the recognition of Grisha as people rather than commodities. Her struggle mirrors real-world oppression, adding a layer of socio-political status warfare to the book's core conflicts. Bardugo doesn't just show one type of power struggle. She weaves together criminal ambition, street-level warfare, political oppression, and societal status games, creating a world where every single person is fighting for their place in it. Whether it's a rivalry, a heist, or a battle of wits, competition keeps readers glued to the page. In Six of Crows, the Ice Court heist itself is a high-stakes game, with every single move feeling like a test of survival. Kaz's rivalry with Pekka Rollins is a long-brewing revenge game, one that keeps the tension between the two characters sharp. Jesper's gambling addiction turns every bet and bluff into a personal battle, one that he is constantly trying to win. By making relationships and missions a competition, Bardugo keeps the stakes sky high. Readers love high-risk situations, as long as they feel controlled enough to enjoy them. The Ice Court heist is a nearly impossible mission, yet every character's skill makes survival feel just barely within reach. Kaz walks straight into danger with nothing but his wits and cane, creating controlled chaos. Nina and Matthias, trapped in enemy territory, experience constant life or death tension, making their survival all the more thrilling. By placing characters in constant peril but keeping them just skilled enough to survive, Bardugo gives readers a thrilling yet satisfying experience. No matter how dark a story gets, human connection is what makes it emotionally powerful. Kaz and Ninej's romance is agonizingly slow burn, with almost every single touch carrying intense emotional weight. Likewise, Nina and Matthias' enemies to lovers dynamic is charged with tension, history, and longing, making their relationship both painful and irresistible. Jesper and Wyland's flirtation brings moments of levity and heart, balancing out the heavier themes. Now let's use this framework to brainstorm ideas for my fantasy story. Here's the concept. My protagonist is a fearless female pirate navigating mystical and perilous waters in search of a legendary treasure. First up, beauty. I'm going to make my world filled with crimson waves and glowing coral reefs. Next, wealth. My protagonist is going to be searching for an artifact that gives her access to unimaginable treasure. Next, power. The protagonist is going to be competing for leadership over her fleet with her first mate. Safe danger. Along the way, the protagonist and her fleet are going to run into sea dragons, storms, and rival pirate crews. But her skill set is going to mean that the protagonist and her crew exit all of those challenges mostly intact. Touch and warmth. Let's give the protagonist a slow burn romance with that same first mate she's competing with. And finally, competition. The protagonist and her fleet are racing to get this artifact ahead of a rival pirate gang. And there you have it. By understanding the psychology of fiction, you can easily brainstorm stories that readers cannot resist. So tell me, what is a book that you could not put down, and what pleasure buttons does it push? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button for more writing deep dives.